Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Cubase tutorial. In this video we're going to be talking about the absolutely amazing EQ from Cubase called Frequency. Now before we get started, just to let you know that Frequency is only available in the Cubase Pro versions. I do believe, if memory serves me correct, it was introduced in version 11. Okay, so the nice thing is with this specific plugin is that it's not just your standard EQ, it is also a dynamic EQ. We'll get a little bit more into details with regards to that part. For now, let's start using it and finding it. Okay, very easy. Here's your channel that you're working with. In this case, we've got a kick, and we want to just EQ it a little bit. We're going to click on the edit options. You're going to go to inserts, you'll tap here, and you're going to search for frequency, and there we go. And that is it. And here we go. And this is our frequency that we're going to be working with. As you can see, it is an 8-band EQ, which all of them are shown here. Very similar to the standard EQ from Cubase. Each of the bands can be turned off and on with the off and on buttons naturally. I'm going to first show you, like with the first band and the 8th band, each of them has a nice low and high pass filter. So in this case, if we click here, it's going to give us a nice steep curve. If you want a bit more gentler, you can cut like that. And then on the 8th band, it is exactly the same, but inversed, as you can see. And there we go. And then underneath all the options, very similar to the standard EQ is in Cubase, is that you can actually adjust these accordingly to how you feel by just tapping on the actual frequency itself and then just moving it around up and down. If, let's say for argument's sake, we want to work with the second band, as you can see, the Q is going to actually make it narrower or more wide, and you can drop it and move it around as you feel. It's also got your gains here. If you don't want to tap and click, if you want a bit more precise, you can double click here, add, for argument's sake, let's say 4, and there we go. You can even do that. So you can do this with all of them, that you can double click and add the numbers manually. Okay, so this is how it works with frequency. Now, this is where you got the multiple bands. Now, if we want to work on a single band, let's say for argument's sake, the second channel, we will tap here. And this is where the fun part begins. This is where the dynamic EQ part comes. Okay, so in this case, as you can see, we are now in the single band mode. And then you can just tap the top here to jump into each of them. You don't need to go back. If you do want to go back, you just click here, multiple bands, and then single bands. Okay, so now that we are in the single bands, I'm going to play the kick so you can see what is happening. Now, obviously over here, all these options are totally relevant. Here are the options that you'll find in the multi-band option view. And here we're back again to the single band view. If you tap here to turn on the dynamics, this is where the dynamic EQ can start working. So in this case, let's say we want to duck a little bit the high end of the kick. Let's say we want a little bit more harder with a bit more punch and not so much high end. Now, as you can see, once we start dropping the threshold, that specific frequency is now ducking. Very, very similar to exactly the same what a sidechain does, except in this case, it is done in EQ, where the threshold of the actual frequency that you don't like can actually drop when the frequency hits a certain threshold. Again, very similar to sidechain compressor. The options are with your ratio. If you want a kick attack, if you want a slow release or fast release, you can actually see the EQ working. And we can do this for argument's sake. And this is now with the threshold off. And as we bring it in, it is now working. And that's it. Nice and easy, very simple to use. As you can see, also as an option here, so that you know when your dynamics are off, sidechain will be turned off, because again, this is basically a sidechain and the input signal is from internally. So in other words, it'll be the threshold of the signal from the frequency that you want to be sidechained. Now, if you click at the bottom here, where it says sidechain options, that means within frequency, we can sidechain multiple audio sources that are external of the current frequency plugin that we are using, which I'm going to show you now. Now, in order to do that, we now are going to introduce a bass. Okay, so now we've got a bass. So now we're going to leave the frequency in the kick, and we're going to go to the frequency in the bass. So again, you're going to click your edit options, go to insert, type in frequency, and here we have the frequency of our bass. Now, very similar to how to activate Sidechain, we're going to click here to activate, go to the cog wheel, and we're going to find our kick, which is over here. Close this up, and then now, let's say for argument's sake at about 100 hertz, which is now like a bit more of your sub. We don't want it to clash with the kick. So at the number 2 band, we're going to drop it slightly, give it a little bit of a curve like that. We're then going to go into single band mode. We're going to activate the dynamics. But now what is happening is the dynamics is on internal to Sidechain. If we click here and we go to Sidechain 1, this is our sidechain from our kick that we activated earlier. So once we tap that, now you can see it is only working against the kick and not internally. So this, for me personally, is a saving grace. That instead of just ducking the entire audio signal, you're only going to be ducking the bass with regards to your kick, so that way it makes perfect room for both without completely squashing the kick and making it sound dull. You're making so much room for your kick and bass to work fantastically well together, especially in house music. For me personally, this is a standard thing that I absolutely love. So let's mess around a little bit, as you can see. Okay, now this is with it on. I'm going to turn it off so you can have a good idea. Can you not hear that now the bass and the kick are very, very cohesive together with them? And again, as I mentioned, you can add as many instruments as you want through the frequency plugin, as you can see here with the different sidechains. This makes your life so much easier, as well as making room and space for so many different instruments that are clashing with different frequencies. So this is going to help you out immensely. And the fantastic thing about frequency, it is standard. It comes with Cubase Pro. There's no need to purchase a third-party plugin and pay hundreds of euros or dollars or whatever. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video of how to use frequency and EQ, as well as EQ, sidechain, and dynamic EQ. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you at the next one.